Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. In today's video, I'll be creating and building the most overrated XI in the world. But disclaimer before we start this video. There's a lot of people who do not understand what the term overrated means. Overrated means you're rated by the general football mindset, the football fans rated higher than you should be. It doesn't mean you have to be shit to be overrated. It doesn't have to be, you can't be good and overrated. You can be one of the best players in the world and still be overrated. Mohamed Salah being a great example of that. But let's get into it. At the goalkeeping position, I have Marc Andre Ter Stegen. And this is maybe, you start questioning how? I don't think, well, the issue is, obviously now he's injured, and when a player gets injured, he doesn't get talked about. People say stuff about him. Ter Stegen for like the past 4 years has still been considered by a large portion of the football fan base as a top 5, top 7 keeper. This guy hasn't been generally a top 20 keeper the past 4 seasons. He's been absolutely awful. Even in periods where Barca have been bad, this guy has still cost him. So Marc Andre Ter Stegen, and also there weren't other overrated keepers I could think of. You can let me know others in the comments down below. But in goal, I'm going with Marc Andre Ter Stegen. For the right back spot, I think it's very easy. Trent Alexander Arnold. Look, if you're a defender and you can attack, that's good. If you're a defender and you can score free kicks, that's good. If you're a defender and can put in beauties of crosses into the box, progressive passes, it's good. But if you can't defend, all of that honestly doesn't matter. All of that honestly doesn't matter, because all of that is extra. All right, you want a right back that can do that, but a right back has to be able to defend. A right back has to be able to defend. The amount of times Trent has caused Liverpool in big games, I don't know, maybe Vinny, Trent just sleeping at the back post in the Champions League final, and this guy is constantly being considered as one of the maybe the best right back in the world and one of the greatest of all time. And I just can't take that seriously. He has great ability, but you always got to look at the bigger picture. All right? A player with huge flaws as a defender, it's like, I don't know, an attacker being absolutely garbage at finishing. But he can do everything else. That's still a huge flaw because that's his main position. Like a striker. But yeah, Trent takes the right back's position. At the right centre-back position, another overrated Premier League merchant, William Saliba. I've watched, every single time I've watched Saliba, I'm like, all right, I'm here to watch Rolls-Royce defender. I'm here to watch one of the best, if not the best centre-back in the world. That's what the Premier League and Arsenal fans tell me. And then I actually watch Saliba. I watch Saliba next to Upamecano. Saliba looks 2 levels below. I watch him with Konate, looks at least a level below. Like, this guy is so overrated. This entire Rolls-Royce thing. First of all, Rolls-Royce, it has to do about the complete part. This guy is one of the worst progressive passers in terms of how actually good he is. Like, this dude is not one of the best. I don't even think he's top 10 in the world. Like, and he has this pussy defending just like Van Dijk, the backing off because I'm scared to get dribble past. And then he gets absolutely cooked when he dares to go into a challenge. Not rate him. Saliba takes the right centre-back position. At the left centre-back position, it's less of a he's overrated now, he's being more overrated. And that's Ligt. Still to this day, the best season that Ligt has had is what? 2018-19 with Ajax. Ever since then, he's just been worse. At Juventus, he was ass. At Bayern, he was ass. And at United, now he's been ass. This dude is... I remember when he joined United, what people said. I remember when he went to Bayern, what people said. And I remember when my club were linked to this guy. This dude stinks. This dude stinks. He's had he's the definition of one season wonder. Obviously, he can still be, he can still overcome everything that's happened in the previous seasons. But this guy is not at that level. He hasn't been that ever since the Ajax season. That Ajax season, honestly, when I watched him, he was world class. That's insane. He was, what was he, 19. And that's another thing we'll come to later. This thing about, oh, he's so good at 19. Imagine when he's 25. Look at Ligt. Ligt was seen as the Rolls-Royce defender that was going to dominate the game and be the best centre-back in so many seasons. When now he's a washed-up project. Ligt takes the left centre-back position. Left-back position, I'm going with Gvardiol. I think Gvardiol, very similar to Trent. Someone that can do a lot offensively. But when you have question doubts defensively, I just can't take you seriously. We saw a 35-year-old, absolutely athletically cooked Lionel Messi. The slowest version of Lionel Messi. The least athletic version of Lionel Messi. Make Gvardiol look like a championship player. And when I saw that, I was like, okay. Yeah. No. This guy went for 90 million as well to Manchester City. And then I see like a progressive pass he makes, an assist he makes, a goal he makes. And that's supposed to change my idea around him. I don't like these overrated fullbacks. I don't like these fullbacks that can only do stuff offensively. At least do a good to decent job defensively. But when you are being cooked consistently, can't take you seriously. Went for 90 million as well. Gvardiol takes the left back position. At the center midfield position, just like the Ligt, we have Frenkie De Jong. Frenkie De Jong is just the Ligt, but another one. Breakout season, one season wonder. Ever since then, he's been stinking it up. One thing for De Jong, though, is at least he's good for the Netherlands team, unlike De Ligt, who stinks as well with the Netherlands national team. But De Jong, once again, having that season, everyone was like, oh my God, he's 21. I think he made the Champions League team of the season in 18-19. And he's been ass. He's been ass. He's been costing Barca in every single big game in the Champions League, not making any defensive effort. Same goes actually for the Netherlands team. This guy stinks. And he's still talked about as one of the most best, the most talented, the most this. Like, this guy is a deep playing player, all right? And has, very great technique and passing and progressive carries. But the thing with playing in a deep playing position, you have to be able to defend. For example, Pedri surprised me a lot this season because usually he doesn't play this deep. But he's played this deep and he's still been very good defensively. Even though he's not that athletic, he's not that physical. He's one like the most grandiose and everything. So De Jong can actually, he's a bitch. He's a bitch. I know that he ain't the man in his house. De Jong takes the CDM position. Right center mid next to De Jong in the double pivot, another Arsenal overrated player, and this is Declan Rice. Declan Rice. Once again, what is the main position of a midfielder? What is the main? Having technical ability, being able to pass the ball. That is the main thing as a midfielder. To defend is the main thing of a defender. As a midfielder, your main thing is going to be technical and moving the ball around. You are in between the defense and the attack. It's very simple. And especially because you play for Arsenal, one of the sides that keep the most possession. But this dude absolutely stinks with the ball. And is basically a centre-back playing in midfield. That's why I don't like this Arteta terrorist football as well and can't rate their defenders because they're never defending in space. They got Saliba, got Gabriel next to him, then he got Ben White, then he got Calafiori, then Declan Rice, then Thomas Partey. Just a bunch of centre-backs. It's just an entire team of just centre-backs. But yeah, Declan Rice, again, once again, extremely overrated. Very similar to Gvardiol. Went for an astonishing price that isn't even close to that. I see him mostly as a system player. You need like an elite ball progressor, ball carrier, technical player next to him to just get something good out of Declan Rice. And this guy gets overrated once again as one of the best midfielders in the world. Mid. Rice takes the right center mid spot. The final midfield spot, obviously, has to be Jude Bellingham. And I'm going to put, my thoughts about him as a person to the side because that doesn't matter. We're strictly here to talk about Jude Bellingham, the football player, the ability. Where is it? I'm constantly seeing one of the best midfielders in the world, one of the best, seeing him, what was it, third in Ballon d'Or last season. And then I watched the games. And I think Bellingham is the perfect example of, if you're casual and don't watch the games, watch the highlights, the perception you will have of Bellingham compared to someone like me who watches the games. I have watched countless of Real Madrid games, especially the bigger ones where, it actually matters, where if you are a great player, that's where you're supposed to shine. I haven't seen any of this Bellingham stuff. Maybe out of 20 games I've watched, maybe I've seen 2 good games from him. That's it. In the bigger games. He just completely drops stinker after stinker after stinker after stinker. And once again, you are a midfielder, or at least that's what Madrid fans tell me. Because when I see Bellingham, I see Dele Alli in another form. Basically, a fourth attacker. Basically, a secondary striker next to Harry Kane, scoring the goals, doing the movement, because Harry Kane was dropping. Harry Kane was more of a midfielder than Dele Alli. And I think that's probably what Madrid need. They need like a Benzema-esque who can drop. Like, they start like this, Benzema at top, Bellingham as the, I don't know, 10 offensive 8, and then they switch. That's what Bellingham is. This guy can't play as a midfielder. As I've said about these false players like Declan Rice and Trent and Gvardiol, Bellingham, the best stuff for a midfielder is passing. He just can't do it, man. He just can't impact a game apart from the like, basically he's an attacker. He's an attacker playing in midfield, just a terrorist player. Bellingham takes the offensive 8 spot. Moving up to the attack for the right wing position, we gotta have my boy Lamine Yamal. It was between him and Mohamed Salah, but honestly, especially now in the recent 2 games, like all the Salah hype died down. So I'm actually happy. I don't have to downplay him. I'm here to talk about Lamine Yamal though. I watched Lamine Yamal, let's say 40 games this season. Let's say 7 to 10, really good. 10, good. Nah, maybe less. Like 5 good, 15 mid, and 10 bad. But people talk about him like that doesn't happen. So when Lamine Yamal has a good game, oh my god, best 17-year-old, best in the world. But when he has a bad game, he's just 17. And that's the issue I have, is people just look at, I don't know, the age or this or that when they're gonna rate a player. If you're gonna put Lamine Yamal in one of the best players in the world discussion, you cannot then defend him with him being 17. You can't have the cake and eat the pie, and eat the pie and eat the cake, and have the cake and eat the pie. You can't do that. You gotta pick one. Either Lamine Yamal is a 17-year-old that shouldn't have that high standard and expectations on him, which I agree with. If I was a Barca fan or just in myself, I wouldn't put any kind of expectation on Yamal. I see Yamal, he's improving season, like this season from last season. He's impacting, you know, bigger games and bigger moments, but he's still not consistent. He's still not mature. His finishing is still very bad. His decision-making in front of goal is still very bad. His maturity in a lot of games is still very bad. And all of that's okay because that's something he can definitely work on for the rest of his career. But once again, they talk about him like he's one of the best players in the world. I'm hearing Ballon d'Or shouts for Lamine Yamal. I see Ballon d'Or lists, he's in top 5s. It's absolutely disgusting. If Lamine Yamal was doing the exact same stuff but at another club, he wouldn't have half of the same PR. And once again, a lot of these players is due to disgusting Zionistic PR. But Lamine Yamal takes the right wing position. For the left wing position, we have the most unserious player of all time. He's a rapper, but says he's a football player. It's Rafael Leao. I've recently been cooking him after that Portugal game, but Rafael Leao, probably one of the most unserious footballers I've seen. Like, because you have to understand, you have to be grateful for what you have, okay? You have to be grateful. I consider myself very great athletically, and I'm very grateful for that. So I try to use it to my best ability. When I play a football game, when I do something, when I'm running, I want to abuse what I'm great at. Rafael Leao, though, look at him. You can see, I remember his assist versus Napoli in the Champions League quarterfinal when AC Milan played Napoli. He made the assist. He just went past 2 people like they were nothing. So this guy, when he actually puts in the mentality, he is that guy. But I think what's happened, ever since that MVP season, he's feeling like he's reached it. He's him. He's him. And doesn't put any passion, any I don't know. He just doesn't put it on the pitch. He's not a serious football player. He's not a serious football player, man. Like the talent, I rate the talent. And that goes for me, maybe De Jong as well in this list. Which is the consistency, the mentality, the performances in games where it matters. Absolutely disgusting. Rafael Leao takes the left wing spot. To finish off this 11, up top, we have Kylian Mbappe. A bit similar to, I would guess, Ter Stegen, where this guy is still being considered as Kylian Mbappe. He's not Kylian Mbappe. He hasn't been there for the past 3 seasons. A lot of people don't exactly understand that because they don't watch PSG that much, so they just look at this season as, oh, it's Mbappe's first season at Madrid. It's an adaptation season, you know, different team, different style, different all of this. And that would be valid if he wasn't shit like this in the past 2 seasons. Kylian Mbappe basically now is like a 35-year-old Lewandowski, 34-year-old Kane. That's what I expect when I see Kylian Mbappe. Someone that's going to score goals, someone that's going to camp in the box, make good runs. Even his finishing has been mid. Like, he's missed so many chances. Honestly, he's missed so many. Like, I see Barca fans always slandering Leva for missing a lot of chances, even though he's the top scorer in the world. I never see that from Madrid fans, and Mbappe has missed probably even more big chances and chances overall than Leva. Like, he's not even a good finisher anymore. His dribbling is cooked. He thinks he's this technical number 10, likes to drop to deep zones. You ain't that him. You ain't him. You ain't Neymar. You ain't Neymar, Mbappe. So this guy is still considered as Mbappe. Like, Mbappe in 21-22, the best player in the world, better than Benzema. One of the scariest players I've seen. And if he continued like that from how he was that season, that's at least a top 10 player of all time. That's an all-timer. But ever since then, I'm like, yeah, this guy is unserious. Again, I think it's a lot mentally. When he extended that Paris Saint-Germain, he basically told himself and the rest of the world, I'm a celebrity. I care about money and power ahead of my football. Because he wanted to go to Madrid for footballing reasons. But he didn't. He stayed because of the money and the power. And he basically just told himself and everyone in the world, yeah, I'm not that passionate about football. But yeah, Kylian Mbappe, as I said, why I think he's overrated is because people still rate him as Kylian Mbappe. People still, just go by his name. But if you've watched Kylian Mbappe the past 3 seasons, both for PSG and the national team, because this midness now, it's not just for Madrid. It's also for the French national team. He scored like 2 goals in his last 13 games. His worst streak ever. This guy, Mbappe, he's just not Mbappe anymore. And people have to start realizing that. Well, that's been it for the most overrated XI in the world. Hopefully, guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below what player did miss out on this 11. And as usual, allez, Paris.